Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am participating in a mystery swap with my friend Jen of Katahdin Crafts. We have done several of these mystery swaps, and this month we are doing a swap featuring products from the Dollar Tree, specifically this large wooden heart sign right here. I did go ahead and send a whole bunch of Valentine themed little stickers, felt stickers, foam stickers, conversation heart stickers, and then she also sent me some things from the Dollar Tree, some little Valentine cutie heart critter kits and some glittered hearts and these doilies. But in the end, both of us decided to recreate this sign for something to hang in our craft rooms. So this is the only thing I'm using from the Dollar Tree, but I wanted you to see they have some amazing Valentine things, and pretty soon the Easter stuff will be out. So make sure you check for that. First thing I'm doing is removing the little hanger and tag, and then I'm going to sand away all the glittery parts from this sign because I'm going to cover it with paper. So I'm just sanding that away, and then there's just a bunch of glitter sitting on top, so I just turn that over in my trash can and kind of shake it off. And then I'm going to bring in a piece of a Swiffer cloth and use that to wipe away any excess on the front of this sign, and of course the mess left on my desk. I have a piece of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper here. I got this at the Spellbinder shop. If it's still available, I will link the paper pack that it's from for you below so you can check it out because there's a lot of good prints in it. I'm not remembering the name of the paper pack. It might be The Good Life, but anyways, it's got some like farm type themed papers. So what I did is I flipped it over and I traced the sign from the back with, the front side of the sign facing down so that the pencil mark would not show on the side I wanted to use. I'm going to repeat that, tracing each of the sections. It wouldn't quite fit on there if I laid it down with all the pieces separated, so I decided to do one at a time, and then I could move those flat edged pieces up to the flat edge of the paper, so I only had to cut 3 sides, which made it much easier, and so did using a pair of long handled scissors for this. So now that I have all 4 of the sections traced out, it is time to adhere them. So I'm using some Tombow Aqua liquid glue. It's in the bottle with the blue lid. This glue works kind of like Mod Podge would. So before I stuck this down, I realized I need a hole in that top section so I can reattach a hanger to this. So I slid it underneath, lined it up, and punched the hole with a 1/4 of an inch hole punch. Now I'm using the large end of the Tombow liquid glue, the end that you never open, that one, and I'm spreading the glue around with that. Then I can press the paper down onto my sign, and I have a little wiggle room to scoot it around and make sure it's lined up. I'm going to repeat that process on each of the 4 sections using this same paper that looks like shiplap or whitewashed wood. I love this pattern, and I think it's going to look amazing on this sign. Okay, I flipped it over and was trying to decide if I wanted to remove the ribbon that holds this sign together, and I decided the color scheme I was going to go with for my stamp studio didn't quite work with the red ribbon. So I'm going to tape these in place, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove that ribbon and use something different. And it's really going to help coordinate all the things I'm doing together. So I'm just going to peel that back. It's covered with like paper tape, and so it was pretty easy to remove. I guess I'm a little bit of what you might call an anal person. In that I really want the back of my sign to look finished off as well. So this was a little bit of a lesson in letting go. You'll see it looks okay from the back, but first I am taking some double stick tape. This is from the Dollar Tree, excuse me, and I just wanted you to know that they have that, and it's kind of nice in a pinch to grab that and pick some up. And plus, using it for projects like this, it was okay with me to have something that was less expensive, but I have to say I didn't notice a difference in quality of this double stick tape. So that was interesting to me. I am taking some Cool Pool satin ribbon. that I had purchased from Fun Stamper's Journey a long time ago. I love this color. It's like my favorite color. So that is the ribbon I'm using. I made sure and put the satin side down so you would see it from the front. Now I'm taking some scraps of chipboard that are 2 inches wide, and I'm going to see about making that fit on each of those sections to cover up that ribbon and hold it down, because I didn't have anything like that paper tape, but I have lots of scraps of chipboard and lightweight chipboard from packaging and things. So I took the double stick tape, put that on the back of the ribbon in each of the sections, and then I'm going to glue down my pieces of chipboard so it covers it up all the way across. It helps give it a little bit more of a finished look, like that. And I made sure I did not cover up that hole. And I'll just repeat that on all of the sections, and I really think it's going to help hold this sign together in the end. And then one last little section there at the bottom, and I did have to snip away the corners, and it worked out great. So it's mostly cleaned up on the back. I like that. Okay, the next step is to let that dry. And while it was drying, I went to my Cameo Silhouette and cut out some letters that said happy stamping. I loved the idea, but I felt like these letters were too small. So I'm going to scoot those aside and work on sanding the edges. So anytime I cover something like this, like a sign, I really like to sand away the excess paper. It helps the paper kind of become one with the wood. It just finishes off those edges so it looks like this paper was meant to be there. And I did that on all 4 sections and made quite a little paper mess on my desk, but it wiped away really good, especially if you use one of those Swiffer cloths. I can't talk. It's getting late at night, y'all. I just take a Swiffer cloth that's meant for the floor and cut it in half, and then I use those to pick up things like glitter and embossing powder and things that are staticky and very fine. Now I am taking some vintage photo distress ink and going around all 4 of these sections. You see there I have a little red ink that was on my glass mat. When I turned this sign upside down, the glue was wet enough that it transferred that ink from my glass mat onto the paper. So I'm going to try and disguise it a little bit with this ink, and I think it turned out okay and covered up the red a little bit. So we have all 4 sections, and then you can see there I'm just going to go right on top and brush this ink on in a few little spots, giving it more of that distressed look, and I love it. Love it. Okay, here are the larger cut letters that I used I made from my Cameo Silhouette, and they are so much better in the larger size. I'm gonna have to work hard to squish them in there on that stamping line, but it'll work out. I'm bringing in this Crafty Friends stamp set from Spellbinders if it's still available. Again, I will link it for you below. I already had a sheet of these stamped. Yay me. So I just went ahead and colored these to match my ribbon, and I used just like, I think 6 markers to do this coloring. And I wanted to have some crafty things at the bottom since it says happy stamping. So I colored the scissors, I colored this roll of washi tape, and I did a couple buttons and the colored pencil. But look at all the fun things in there. And there is a die set that cuts out some of the biggest images in this set. And I actually did not end up using the die set. I cut them using my Silhouette because I already had it out. Now, if you have a Silhouette and you haven't used it that much, I use mine a lot for card making and paper crafting. I actually have some videos on my channel that I show you different ways that I use it. So I'm going to link that playlist for you at the end of this video, and you can check that out and see those different things, like how to cut out digital stamps, make customized sentiments, things like that. These are the markers I use to color out all my images, and I have them cut out. And now I am putting the same liquid glue over the top. Now this liquid glue is going to dry clear with a matte finish. You will not be able to tell that there's glue on top of this at all. So it's fabulous. If you haven't used this Aqua glue for anything like this, you're gonna love it. So now when I put this on the second section, I'm going to use it not only to finish off the top, but to adhere down my die cut letters. So I'm going to put on the word happy, and I didn't work too hard at spacing these. I think I should have maybe worked a little bit harder at it. They're not perfectly spaced, especially when it comes to this third section here where I put in the word stamping. I could have got the letters a little bit closer together at the beginning, which, you know, I kind of laid them out to see, but yeah, you know, I'm not perfect, and letting go of perfectionism is one of my goals, and just being happy with how things turn out when they're handmade. So I did have to scoot over some of the last letters, but if you pick this up after it's sat down for any length of time, you can risk ripping the paper. So I didn't go all the way back to the S and scoot everything over, and I called it good, and I can be happy with it. So I added a little sentiment that says craftiness is happiness, also from that same set, and then I'll glue down all my cute little crafty things there at the bottom, and I think it is really fun having those. I would have liked to have like a stamp, you know, something that looks like a rubber stamp, but I'm going to be happy with it, and I'm going to love hanging this on the door to my craft room. So now I'm going to go over the top of this with the same glue, and I'm using a foam brush to spread it around on the top. It just smooths it out much better than when I use the end of the tube of glue itself on the wood part. That part didn't matter if it was super smooth. This part is the finishing touch, so I want to make sure that it's nice and smooth. You can get bags of these foam brushes at the Dollar Tree as well. Now I'm bringing in this beautiful flower corsage that my friend Becky Roberts made for me a few years ago. A little known fact, or maybe it's a well-known fact about me, I was a coach for Fun Stampers Journey when they did direct sales, and there was a big awards night, and so Becky made that for me to wear. It was a really good night, and I love that I've saved it all these years and I can put it on this and remember that particular time in my life. So now I am taking some jute twine from the Dollar Tree and using that to string up my sign. What I did not anticipate was that the flower at the top of this sign was going to make the left side heavier than the right side. So when I hung it up on my door, which you'll see right here, that didn't really work out good. It was crooked on one side. So I took some more of that chipboard. I did end up doing 4 pieces right here, and then I did 2 pieces on the road just below that to make it kind of thicker and heavier on that side, and that actually did the trick and made my sign hang more level. Now, had I anticipated the flower making it heavier, I would have covered up that hole altogether in the middle of the sign and strung some twine or ribbon from side to side, making it easier to hang the sign so that it was, you know, even. Yeah, so there it is. That is my finished sign for my stamp room. It has my saying that I always say, happy stamping, at the end of every video, so I love it. And now I have something that can hang on my craft room door all the time. Thank you so much for stopping by. I have a link to Jen's video in the description box below, so you can hop over right now and see what Jen did with her sign. I thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you guys again very soon on the next video. Happy stamping. Bye.